My brother-in-law announced at my father's wake that I'd finally get the money I'd been waiting on. So I read the text my father sent him the week before he died. The room went quiet the second Trevor stood up. He tapped his glass with a spoon like it was a toast. At a wake, with my father's photo still warm on the mantle. I just want to say, he started swirling his wine, that Daniel here can finally relax. He's been waiting a long time for this. That inheritance is gonna change his life. A few people laughed, uncomfortable. My sister Megan went pale next to him. Waiting? I said. You want to say that again? Come on, Danny. Everybody knew. You called Frank 3 times a week those last months. How you feeling, Dad? We all saw the game. The game. The devoted son act. He smiled at the room. Nothing wrong with it. Just funny how the calls stopped the day he passed. My aunt gasped. My mother's cousin looked at me like I was something scraped off a shoe. That was the point. Trevor wasn't grieving. He was building a story in front of 40 witnesses, and I was the villain in it. Trevor, I said, when did you last visit my father? I was there constantly. Name one time this year. He waved his glass. I'm not doing this at a wake. You started this at a wake. I pulled out my phone. You said Dad and I had an arrangement. Let's read what Dad actually thought. He texted you a week before he died. 9 days, actually. You want me to read it, or you want to tell them yourself? The color drained out of his face so fast I thought he'd drop the glass. You don't have my text. Dad and I shared an iCloud. Set it up when his eyes got bad so I could read his mail to him. I held up the screen. Everything that came to his phone came to mine, including what you sent him. Danny, put the phone down. I read it anyway. Trevor, that's the 4th time you've asked. The answer is still no. I'm not signing the house over to you and Megan early, and I'm not co-signing another loan. I know about the cards you opened in her name. She doesn't yet. Stop asking me for money. Silence. The real kind, where you can hear the refrigerator in the next room. Megan's head turned slowly toward her husband. Cards in my name. He was confused, Trevor said. He was sick. He didn't know. There's more. He sent this one 2 days later. If you contact me about money again, I'm calling my lawyer and Megan both. Daniel is the only one who's never asked me for a dime. Whatever you're telling people, I repeated, and looked right at him. You've been telling them about me for months, haven't you? That's why Cousin Ruth won't look at me. That's why Uncle Phil skipped the hospital. You needed a greedy son in the story so nobody would ask why you were the one calling Dad's bank. Calling his bank, Megan said. Not a question now. I checked with the estate lawyer Tuesday, I said. Somebody tried to add a name to Dad's account in November. Bank flagged it. They have the caller's number. I set my phone on the table, screen up, that same thread still glowing. It's a 508 number, Trevor. That's your cell. He put the wine down because his hand wasn't steady enough to hold it. You stood up, I said, at my father's funeral and called me a vulture because you needed everyone looking at me instead of at you. Dad saw you coming a year ago. He wrote it down. He left me the whole estate and a letter that says why, and the lawyer read me the line this morning. You want to hear the line? Nobody moved. He wrote, Trevor will make himself the loudest person in the room the day I'm buried. Watch him do it. Then hand my son this letter. 40 people turned to look at Trevor at the exact same moment. He'd made himself the loudest person in the room, right on schedule. My father called it from the grave. Megan slid her wedding ring off at the table and set it next to my phone. The cards, she said quietly. Show me the cards. I did.